This is my in-depth review on the Galaxy Note 10 Plus. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're returning from another video, thank you so much, I appreciate it. I want to make this video short and concise, so if I miss anything, feel free to comment or ask me any question you'd like, and I'd be happy to answer any concerns. So let's get started. So the first thing I want to talk about is the price. So the retail price of the Galaxy Note 10 Plus is $1,100, and currently you can get it for a lot less, and that's probably what somebody in 2020 would want to do. So this particular one right here, I actually had the Galaxy Note 10 Plus when it first came out, sold that so I was able to get the iPhone, and then I came back to this at a very discounted rate of $650 in very good condition. If you were looking to buy this phone in 2020, make sure to go on Swappa or eBay. You're going to want to pay something $600 to $700 to get a new open boxed or in excellent condition. There are a couple specs I would like to talk about, and the first one being that this has 256 gigabytes of storage and 12 gigabytes of RAM. That's insane. In comparison to the iPhone 11 Pro Max, it base starts at 64 gigabytes and 4 gigs of RAM. Now, we should not compare RAM completely because Android eats up a lot more RAM than iOS does, but nevertheless, that is something you should know. This also has micro SD expansion and the iPhone does not. Other specs or features I'd like to quickly talk about is the in-display fingerprint scanner, which I really like. As you can see there, it's pretty quick. It's usually pretty good. There were a lot of complaints about the ultrasonic fingerprint scanner at first, but I like it. Another thing we should talk about is the haptic engine is much improved, especially from the S10. It does not compete on the iPhones yet, but it's still pretty good. Its overall design is very sleek. It's a very thin bezel. You only have a hole punch up here, and it's a nice glass slab. Now let's get into the main parts of the video. So the first thing we're going to talk about, we kind of got at it, was the display. The screen to body ratio is fantastic. The only thing I can really complain about is it being on 60 Hz because I did use the OnePlus 7 Pro, which was at 90 Hz, and it was a lot smoother. I can feel a considerable difference when I'm going things through like Twitter or even scrolling between a 90 Hz and a 60 Hz. The Galaxy S20 series, all of them have 120 Hz at full HD, so that is something to look for. But we're going to focus on this because this is still an excellent value proposition at its current price. The only other thing I can say about the display that I didn't like is the curved display, and this one is not as egregious as on the 7 Pro. I see very little glare on the end from it, and I get very few accidental touches, but in comparison to a flat display like the iPhone 11 Pro, I prefer the flat display. Next, I would like to talk about the sound, and at the sound, you're going to see partially about the display as well, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to play one of my videos who I believe these phones are marketed at. To compare these phones, I'd like to compare it to a phone of... So, you're not going to get much out of the sound there, especially because it's coming from a mic, but the phone's sound is very good. And what I want to show you is what YouTube looks like on this. And then someone who shoots in a better aspect ratio like Marquez Brownlee, I'm not going to play it just in case of copyrights. This is what you're going to get. As you can tell, the little hole punch does protrude a little bit on these, but it's not terrible. The vast majority of the screen's pretty easy to see, but sometimes I can notice the asymmetry of it. One of the most important features of a phone is its camera. And this camera is very versatile. I'm going to show you guys a comparison right now between this and the iPhone 11 Pro Max, and just overall some pictures of what I got, what you guys think, and you guys can let me know in the comments about who you think's photos were better. Because a lot of the times when I showed people and was not saying, oh, this is the Note, there's the iPhone, I get mixed results. Sometimes they say this one's better, sometimes they say the others. So I want to see what you guys have to say. All right, on to the battery life. So this is a 4,300 milliamp hour battery on 60 Hz, so it's pretty good for me. I do really well. As you can see right now, I am at 80%. It's 7 o'clock, but I did charge. So I charged for about 20 minutes today. But overall, I get very good battery life. In addition to the great battery, the charging speed's extremely quick. So their 25-watt charger that they come in the box is very efficient. I do a lot better on this than I do on Apple's 18-watt charger, which makes me feel like it's a lot better optimized because this is a 4,300 milliamp hour battery, which is more than the 11 Pro Max. This one also has fast wireless charging. All right, gaming. So what I want to do in gaming is, if you've seen any of my videos, which probably a lot of you haven't, I do a little Minecraft one. We don't do any extensive gaming or anything, but I just show you how smooth it's going to be on this. And Minecraft isn't the most extensive game. It's not like a PUBG or a Fortnite, but it's a big world. It's a big game, so, you know, we got night. Every other time it's been the day. But, alright, we got a night here. But overall, it's very smooth. The Snapdragon 855 is a great chip, so it's going to be able to play a game like this with quite ease. So like seeing Minecraft in one of my vids. Another thing is, if you've seen anything about me talking about Android, it's me raving about how much I love Google Assistant, and the Note 10 Plus is no exception. Hey Google, how are you doing?
I'm great, thanks for asking.
Okay, simple. I love Google Assistant. It works so well for me. In every case, it can answer questions so much better than Bixby or Siri. So it's my favorite voice assistant. But the one thing it can't do, because it's not integrated into the hardware as Bixby is. So for example, like right here, I like to say, turn on my hotspot, and Bixby can do that with ease. But with Google Assistant, because it's not as integrated, it can't do something like that. Also, Bixby was a lot better for reminders. So, hey Bixby, remind me in 30 seconds to show this test reminder. So in about 30 seconds, you'll see that the reminders using Bixby are a lot better. They get your attention a lot more than the Google Assistant ones. When I've asked Google to do it, sometimes it just gets out of the system. They don't ask me to end it or any of that. But with the Bixby reminders, they actually are pretty good. So a lot of people think Bixby is useless, but I've found use cases for it. And no, it's not my favorite assistant for like the everyday tasks and stuff like that, but those niche ones are where I actually like using Bixby. And there it gets into your notifications very quickly. You see it, you can snooze it, complete it. We'll complete it for now, but overall it's just a lot better. This would not be a Galaxy Note without the S Pen. So for me personally, I don't use the S Pen very much. Even, sometimes if I'd like to jot something down really quickly, maybe my pen and paper's out and I go from the home screen, but for the most part, I don't use it. The S Pen is not a staple of what I do on my phone. What is a staple is Samsung Pay. I absolutely love Samsung Pay. Because what Samsung Pay does is it uses MST and NFC. And for somebody like me who lives in the US, a lot of them use those old card readers. So I can use this literally anywhere. Finally, the last thing I want to talk about is One UI. So I've always preferred stock Android over One UI, but from the TouchWiz days, this has been an incredible update. They got Android 10 to the Galaxy Note 10 faster than they've gotten any new Android version onto other Note series. So that's a good improvement. But nevertheless, Samsung needs to do a little bit better with their software updates. Because they charge such a high price for the phone, I think it's a necessity to give more support to their devices. But I digress. One UI is very good. I haven't found the need to put a launcher on it. The Android 10 gestures are very clean. The animations are clean, even though I do reduce the animations to make things feel quicker. But as you can tell, it's very fluid. I really like it. It was a good little upgrade. And one thing I've always loved about Samsung is in the device care, because I can see exactly what's happening with my battery. I can see my storage. I love micromanaging my memory, especially when I think things are closing. But we're going to do a little quick RAM test with this because I have that. We have a lot of stuff open, so let's see how it does. With 12 gigabytes of memory, everything should be in here. But it looks like Minecraft. No, that actually didn't. And I died from a zombie. But oh well. It kept everything in pretty well. Here are my closing thoughts. The Galaxy Note 10 Plus is a very good value proposition in 2020 because although these software updates aren't going to come, you still have a bunch of the Samsung features that aren't on a bunch of other phones. You're paying around $600 to $700 for a pretty good option, which isn't terrible. You get 60 hertz, but it's a beautiful display to watch content on, and the battery's pretty solid with the camera being great as well. So let me know what you guys think about this phone. If you want any follow-up videos, if you want me to compare it to the iPhone 11 Pro Max side by side, if you want me to talk about what I like about Android versus iOS, and anything, please leave a comment down below, subscribe if you're new, and thank you so much for watching.